All right, Shalom. First off, I'm gonna start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakudash, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father's true name, Yahweh Shai being the name of His only begotten Son. Double honor unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you welcome throughout the four corners of the earth, continuing to push and do the works in truth and sincerity. All right, this is Brother Mashah Mayum, one of the men here with the GMS branch out here in the morning camp. Here with another quick lesson through the Spirit, and pretty much just speaking on how the elect, okay, are going to be waiting on Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, okay? All right, the elect are going to be doing the work and waiting on the Lord, okay, to give them that power, all right, to take vengeance, okay? Because we'll, starting off with the book of Romans, right? It's starting at verse 12, all right, because ultimately we understand, the elect understand that, Esau Edom was given the power, okay, and ultimately we can't take down, all right, Esau Edom, okay, without the power of the Lord, you know. So Lord's will, as we read these precepts and make the lesson is edifying and on point. But let's start off with Romans chapter 12 and starting at verse 19, and it reads, "Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord." Okay, and we understand this on a whole, greater scale level. Okay, dealing with, taking down this devil and fighting against his weapons and his military soldiers that he's coming down with. Okay, the scriptures tell us to wait upon the Lord. Okay, because once again, like brothers have been doing many different videos, okay, and lessons on hey, ultimately Jake isn't ready for the wrath that this devil is coming down with. Okay, we know and we understand according to the scriptures that the sword, okay, was his blessing. All right, speaking of Esau Edom, okay, being the so-called white man, right? So he's gonna overpower you, you Jakes, either way it goes, you know. But from here, let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 8, and it reads, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." Okay, so plain and simple, this is the Lord telling you, wait upon me. All right, not take vengeance, not gather arms, not get together, and take matters into your own hands. All right, and once again, speaking for the elect, all right, this is what the elect understand. All right, our job is to simply preach this word, okay, and to bring in continue to spread this message, this word, okay. And the Lord is the one opening the minds of the elect to wake them up. All right, I speak as a man, I believe as well, as elder brothers and the apostles say, okay, I believe the elect are either sealed or almost being sealed. All right, completely sealed. Okay, but right. So it says, "Wait ye upon me." Okay, and what are we doing as we wait? Right, what are the elect going to be doing as they wait? Let's get the book of Luke. Luke chapter 19. It's like in verse 13. It reads, "And he called his 10 servants, and delivered them 10 pounds, and said unto them, Occupy till I come." Okay, so what it says, occupy until I come. All right, and what is this? This is a parable speaking of what? Until the Lord's return. Okay, and right now the servants of the Lord, the elect, are the ones who have those talents, okay, and that are flipping those talents and doing the work, okay, until the Lord returns. All right, so this is what the elect are going to be doing, okay, this whole time as the Lord is not here. Okay, you know, preaching the word, doing lessons, edifying, going out to the highways and byways, right? You know, working on your, or your conduct, much more in your absence, okay, when you're not around people, right? Because once again, like brothers say, not to drift off, but being on camera, okay, that's the tip of the iceberg, right? You know, it's even a greater fight in a more work, off camera, you know, but right. And I want to grab this real quick. Um, let's get Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 16, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 16, and it reads, "Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them." Right? Now focusing on that part, okay? Because what does it say? This is Matthew chapter 4 and verse 19, and it reads, "And he saith unto them, Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Okay? And what does that mean? That's what? The elect, once again, the men of the Lord preaching his word, okay? Fishing for men, okay? Being what? Ultimately the elect, right? You out there preaching the word on the highways and byways, okay? And whoever, spirit within them compels them to come or to stop and listen, right? Hey, that's them being reeled in, okay? Somebody drives by, and sees the brothers out there on the highways and byways, okay, or even might come across, it could be a social media post or one of the lessons, right? And they hear and they want to hear more, right? Hey, that's them being reeled in, right? Because it also says too, real quick, right? This is Matthew chapter 13 and verse 47, and it reads, "Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind." Okay, so once again, this is a parable dealing with what? This knowledge, okay, that was cast into the sea, all right, and gathered of every kind. So once again, tying it into what? You know, being fishers of men, okay, because that's another form of catching fish too, right? Casting a net into the sea, you know. But that's a parable dealing with this word, okay, this truth, all right. Because ultimately, once again, the main point of this lesson is the elect are the ones that are going to be waiting on the Lord, okay, and doing the work of the Lord while waiting on the Lord, okay. But going back to Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 16, it reads, "Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And afterward I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks." Okay, so these same men that are fishers, okay, are going to be turned into hunters. All right, you know. So this is right now, okay, it's still the fishing stage, for the men of the Lord. All right, and once again, the elect understand this, which is why, the elect are not taking up arms, okay, like these YNs, or coming in the spirit, okay, that these YNs are in, okay, or even we can go as far as to say like different movements, okay, you know, Like you had, for example, the Black Panthers and other also groups, you know, like different Northern Kingdom political parties that came together. Okay, you had the Young Lords, you had the Brown Berets, right? Those are they came together, but once again, the Spirit of the Lord, okay, wasn't the driving force. All right, you know, but the main point, is the elect are doing the work of the Lord, okay, to wake up the elect, and once again, once that process is done, then they're going to be turned into hunters, okay, and that's when it's time to take vengeance, when the Lord gives the elect that power. All right, you know, um. From here, let's get Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 31, and it reads, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." Okay, and this is going to come ultimately, in this time, okay, according to prophecy. All right, because like it says, right, let's get Isaiah 59. This is Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19, and it reads, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." Okay? So that's when, the power is going to be given unto the elect, okay, to physically fight against this devil. All right? Different brothers are going to be getting power. All right? And that's what, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashah is when it's really time to, take vengeance, right? From here, let's get Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 4. And it reads, "For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come." All right? Hey, so the day of vengeance is in the Lord's heart. All right? That's why all the elect have to do, okay, is simply do the work, okay, and sit back and wait upon the Lord. Hey, because what the Lord is going to be going to do is going to be far more powerful, okay, than what man can do. All right? The Lord is going to showcase his power and his strength through his men, okay? To prevail against this devil. All right? Because like it's also prophesied in Revelation, roughly paraphrasing, it says, "And the dragon was wroth and went to make war, okay, with the remnant of the woman, okay, who keep the commandments." So this devil's going to eventually come down with great wrath upon the men of the Lord. All right? But the Lord is going to lift up that standard, But so that's the point of this lesson, basically dealing with, the elect are going to be simply waiting on the Lord while doing the work, okay? So Lord's will is edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash, for putting the Spirit upon me to do this lesson. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles, a great millstone who rule well and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you walking throughout the four corners of the earth. Continuing to push and do the works in truth and in sincerity. With that, shalom.